Logic comes from the Greek logos, which has a variety of meanings including word, true idea, argument, account, reason, or principle. It is the study of reasoning, or the study of the principle and criteria of valid inference and demonstration. It attempts to distinguish good reasoning from the bad reasoning. Aristotle had said, "Logic is new and necessary because it allows us to learn things we do not know and the conclusions cannot be escaped." It asks questions like, what is correct reasoning? What distinguishes a good argument from a bad one? How can we detect a fallacy in reasoning? Logic investigates and classifies the structure of a statement and arguments, both through the study of formal systems of inference and through the study of arguments in natural language. There are three necessary things that must be there in logic. First one, consistency. The theorem do not contradict one another. Second one, soundness. Systems rule of proof will never allow false inference from a true premise. 3. Completeness. There are no true sentence in the system that cannot at least principle be proved in the system. Back in time, history of logic. There are various mentions of logic from various parts of the world like Hindu philosophy, Islamic philosophy, and Greek philosophy. In Hindu philosophy, we can see mentions of logic. Nasadiya Sukta of the Rig Veda contains various logic visions that were later recast formally as the Four Circle of Kataskoti. The Nyaya school of Indian philosophical speculation is based on texts known as the Nyaya Sutras of Aksapada Gautama from around the 2nd century BC, and its methodology of inference is based on a system of logic involving combination of induction and deduction by moving from particular to particular via generality that subsequently has been adopted by majority of the other Indian schools. In the ancient Greek tradition, both Plato and Aristotle conceived of logic as the study of argument and from a concern with correctness of argumentation. This is also the root of modern logic. Aristotle produced 6 works on logic, known collectively as the Organon. The first of these, the Prior Analytics, being the first explicit work in the formal logic. He is perhaps most famous for introducing the syllogism or term logic. In medieval times, Aristotelian logic or dialectics was studied, along with grammar and rhetoric, as one of the three main strands of the trivium, the foundation of a medieval liberal arts education. Logic in Islamic philosophy also contributed to the development of modern logic, especially the development of Abyssinian logic, which was responsible for the introduction of hypothetical syllogism, temporal logic, modal logic, and inductive logic as an alternative to Aristotelian logic. In the 18th century, Immanuel Kant argued the logic should be conceived as the science of judgment, so that the valid inferences of logic follow from structural features of judgments, although he still maintained that Aristotle had essentially said everything there was to say about logic as a discipline. The different types of logic are listed below. Number 1. Formal logic. Number 2. Informal logic. Number 3. Symbolic logic. Number 4. Mathematical logic. Formal logic. This is traditional logic or philosophical logic that studies formal rules passed down from Aristotle. It is the study of inference with purely formal and explicit content. It can be expressed as a particular application of a wholly abstract rule. Informal logic. It studies natural language or ordinary language and is a discipline that developed recently. Natural language here means a language that is spoken, written, or signed by humans for general purpose communication, as distinguished from formal languages such as computer programming languages or constructed languages such as Esperanto. It focuses on reasoning and argument one finds in personal exchange, advertising, political debate, legal argument, and the social commentary that characterize newspapers, televisions, the internet, and other forms of mass media. Symbolic logic. Symbolic logic is the study of symbolic abstractions that capture the formal features of logical inference. It deals with the relations of symbols to each other, often using complex mathematical calculus. Mathematical logic. Both the application of the techniques of formal logic to mathematics and mathematical reasoning, and conversely, the application of mathematical techniques to the representation and analysis of formal logic.